So welcome to our Spotlight series, and today what I'm going to do is focus on the push-up and the spine stretch. Now the push-up movement is a movement where often the focus is lost during certain phases of the movement. So when it's done from standing, one of the key things is a lot of people rush the journey to the floor. Now we know how to roll down to the floor, but it should be done with focus and control, and same as articulating out. So just to emphasize that piece first of all, you've got to feel that you're in control of the pelvis above the feet so it doesn't stick out behind you. That's going to encourage the back to go flat. And we are trying to release the spine on the way down and help gravity open that up. So the chin wouldn't over-aggressively tuck. It can, but it's going to create more tension. You're going to let it go with gravity. Arms are relaxed, but shoulders are controlled. Folding it in yourself, the gaze really should look at the legs and you roll down to the floor. Here, softening the knees is a good idea if you know that you hyperextend those knees. Rolling back through to the floor to your point of tension. Tension means that there's resistance. You don't push through it, so you might have to soften the knees. Now, imagine we've done the next phase, the press up. To roll back out, you'd articulate from the base of the spine. Really see the articulation coming from here, rebuilding. Don't be in a rush to come up, and rebuilding back to your tall position. So when you finish this movement, even after doing the press-up phase, you should feel taller than when you started. So we're going to work on the other piece that often goes quite wrong or stressful for a lot of people, but I'm going to give you a way of making it more focused, perhaps more challenging, but it will be a smaller range of movement. We're going to work with the box position today. So when you roll down to the floor, come to your point of tension, take it onto the hands and knees, try and quite quickly get yourself into a really good box position. If you've been working with the swimming in all fours, you'll recognize this position. So there's a natural curve in the lower back, the mid and upper back has its natural curve that you would have standing, the shoulders are connected down, and the front of the chest is open. So in this position, the hands are going to go a little bit wider than your shoulders, and the elbows, well, you can direct them the way you feel they need to go, as long as the shoulders do not change positions, and that's the key. But for this movement, both in its original form with straight legs and in this form, we're trying to work the whole trunk as a unit, not simply the shoulders. And for that to work, we really need to go off center. Otherwise, it just becomes shoulders. So let me show you when it just becomes about your shoulders and chest muscles. If you go down here, if you go forward, you're going to find the whole body works more. Of course, the wrist angle will challenge more, but here, breathing out, in time with the breath, come back, and that means about going that direction. That's going to be the main part of this movement for your challenge. You walk back with control, roll back up with control, and repeat that 3 to 5 times. And that would be your push-up, that focus of going forward. Really make that your emphasis, and you'll get the full trunk stabilization work. And as you come back out, articulate the spine up, just and let the shoulders ease as you come up, and you'll get the full work. So we're going to still look at movement in the spine, but with a much more focused stretch of the lower back, and that's the spine stretch. So I'm going to turn my side to you, because I want you to think that you're sitting tall. So with common hamstring tightness in a lot of people, if you sit with the legs straight, you collapse. This would be what we call a relaxed position. We don't want to be here. We want to be sitting as tall as we can so the lower back's not stressed. So to achieve that, I'm going to allow you to soften those knees. I like to turn the knees out so these muscles are working less, but it also makes some space for the pelvis to get up there. So you're as tall as you can be and not starting the movement here. So nice and tall. And we're going to have 2 choices with the arms. We're going to take the open arm where they go around the legs, and the other arm as the fingers are walking on the floor. But the visualization I want you to imagine here is the sacrum. This piece of your pelvis is glued to a wall behind you. You cannot let that move forward. So as you walk the fingers forward, you're lifting up and over as if you're going over a beach ball that's between your knees, lifting up and over and walking the crown of the head to the wall. Now you might not find you can go far. That's where you stop and then rebuild, articulating it up vertebra by vertebra by vertebra so you finish taller. This movement's repeated again another 3 to 5 times. Each time, not worrying about trying to go further, just finding your limit. The muscles you're stretching to do the spine stretch are all in the posterior of the trunk, so the spine muscles of the trunk. Those are a collection of lots of muscles, some long, some short, deeper, more superficial. So you don't get the stretch sensation. But if you literally are going as far as your body will allow you, arms going forward, without collapsing or without closing in, then you are getting those muscles lengthened. And repetition is always the key with Pilates. So this is our goal here, to work with repetition in the movement. Quality is about up and over, not collapsing down and in. Find the leg position that allows you to get your stretch. And that would be us looking at those two movements, quite different in character, but both going to achieve a healthy spine and a healthy system around the spine.